In this video, it's my pleasure to be interviewing April Mesich. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please email me. My email address is in the description. And again, in this video, it's a pleasure to have April Mesich. Thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex, for having me.
My pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous.
Good. And you're joining us from Minnesota, is that correct?
That's right, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. I think I've been there once, maybe.
Yeah, you'll have to come back. It's a great place. It's a good backgammon hub too.
Yeah.
At least it's become that.
Yeah, I remember I went to the Mall of America there.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, that was quite the mall. Okay, wonderful. We're happy to have you. I know we're going to talk a lot about backgammon, all sorts of things. I like to start, if I may, with a little bit of background biographical information. Can you please tell us where you were born and raised, and where you did your education, if any?
Sure. So I was born here in Minneapolis. I've lived in Houston. I lived in Texas for a couple of years, but then I came back here. So pretty much grew up here, was educated here. I have a background in marketing and have pretty much been my whole life in Minneapolis.
What kind of marketing did you do, or do you
What kind
do?
of marketing? I've been in marketing for over 20 years. I've done financial services, I've done telecommunications, I've done a little retail, really a little bit of everything.
Right. And you're married, right?
Yes, I'm married, and my husband is Michael Messick, and he's also a backgammon player.
Yeah. And do you have kids?
I do. I have two grown children. I have an older son named Michael. He's 27. Yeah. And then I have a daughter named Ava, and she's
Wonderful.
25.
Did they play backgammon too?
They will play with me a little bit, but they're not passionate about the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have two
I've
young.
tried.
Yeah, yeah. I have two young children, and my son sometimes plays with me. My daughter is younger; she's two, so she usually kind of takes the checkers from the board when we play and runs away with it.
Sure. So I think I started playing when they were teenagers, when they kind of really started realizing that mom plays backgammon. And, when you're a teenager, I don't know if you really want to pick up the same game as your parents. So it was sort of like
Mm.
not cool to do it. But now that they're older, they will play with me, and
Right.
they do enjoy a little bit.
Yeah, actually, that was the next question I was going to ask. When you started, so you started when your children were a little bit older?
Well, I actually started, my first memory is around 2000, when they were little. They were very tiny, like preschoolers, and I found backgammon on the internet. It was early days when you could play at MSN Zone. You could play on Fibs, the first internet backgammon server. And so I played there. I didn't have a ton of time. I had, little kids, they're time intensive. So I'd play when they were napping, and I'd play when I'd have time. But I really loved the game. And I knew that there was more to it, but I never really had time to dedicate, to study and to buy all the programs and the books and things. But throughout the years, I would dabble.
So what caught your attention to the game, or what did you find interesting that you continue to play?
I had this sense that there was a high amount of strategy to the game as well as tactics. And so that was really fascinating to me. I read a lot of articles about backgammon strategy and how to play. But I found out later you really need to take the time to dig into it to become a really good player. And so I'd play on Fibs, and there were really great players from all over the world, Germany and Italy and France. And I play with all these people. And I I was just fascinated by the variety of the game, the variants. I thought it was really exciting. And but like I said, I really didn't find out there was how deep the game was until a little bit later.
And you said you read some articles and perhaps some books. What did you read and what did you find was useful for you?
It was just online articles that I read. It really wasn't um, until I started dating Michael that I got into the game. And so I can tell a little bit about that if you want to
Yeah,
hear
go
the
ahead. Yeah,
story.
that's
Yeah. So I'd gotten to the point where I was really good enough to beat all my friends and my family. Not good at backgammon, but good enough to beat them. So I didn't have anyone to play in person because they wouldn't play me anymore. And so it was only online. When I started dating Michael, we started dating in 2014. And he was a big games player, and he has about 500 games in his collection, a variety. And so he really had this love of games. But backgammon was my game, like that I loved. And so he would play with me. So I decided, okay, I have somebody that finally I will play in person with. And so I wanted to go online and buy a really nice backgammon board, invest in a nice board. So I started Googling, backgammon Minneapolis, backgammon boards. And eventually I found that there was a club that was near us that was only a mile and a half from my house. And it was just this moment of like, oh, there's a club that's a mile and a half from my house. How did I not know this? And it was really actually difficult to find. I found it through many internet searches. There was a mention of a blog of a good player that was in our club, Steve Brown. And so it was just a lot of investigative work to try to find out, where is this club? Where is it at? Where are the meetings? But as soon as I found it, I told Michael about it, and we went the very next week, and we have not missed a week of backgammon since.
that's great. That's great.
And that was about 2015.
Wow, what kind of board did you end up getting at the time?
I ended up getting a Crisloid. This is my first board.
Those are good. What colors did you get on yours?
I got the Heritage series, or was it the? It was it was one with the vintage points, and it was yellow and green. Yeah,
Those have like a dot above the tips, right?
they do. They do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun. I know Crisloid was recently purchased, and now they have really good service. I've spoken to some of them, so people really like their boards. Crisloid has been making boards for many years.
Yeah. It was a good first board.
Yeah. So that was you said that was your first. Did you get other boards?
Yeah, I probably have 4 or 5 boards now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. I have a couple, and most recently I got an FM Gammon, the Talat board, which is actually the one that's in my background. What I like about that is you can change the surfaces, the inlays to like different colors. So it's like having a whole new board without having to actually have a board.
Oh, sure. Sure. I've seen those. I've seen those.
Um,
Yeah, I have Brazilian board.
ah,
I still have my Crisloid. I have an FTH board, which I really love. Um, I won 2 backgammon boards when I was in Istanbul.
really?
So I have quite a few, and I probably will buy others. I like to
I
have
know.
backgammon
It's
boards
fun.
in
I have a
different colors.
collection. Yeah, I have a collection. Well, I don't have that many boards, but I have all the many different surfaces, like maybe 10 surfaces and maybe 10 or 20 different sets of checkers. So you can kind of like mix and match. Uh,
Sure.
and that's always fun. I know, of course, we both enjoy backgammon. What kinds of hobbies and interests do you have outside of backgammon?
Outside of backgammon, well, backgammon takes up a lot of my time
I
now.
know.
But I've always liked to dance, and I frequently go swing dancing, particularly Lindy Hop, and I've taken lessons for maybe 8 or 9 years, and we have a good dance community here in Minneapolis.
That's good. I think dancing or any type of exercise is good for your health, and it's good for your mindset when you're playing, you know. When
Sure.
you get exercise, your mind is more healthy as well as
Right,
your body, of course.
right.
Uh, so I know we have some questions specific for you. Now you're running the Minnesota tournament, and there's also, you said there's a local club there in Minneapolis.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So there's local club. Michael and I, we run one of the nights. We have backgammon 2 nights a week. Monday night, we get about 16 people, and Thursday, we get sometimes up to 32 people twice a week. So it's really good backgammon here. When I started out, I came, like I said, our backgammon club was really hard to find. And when I walked in the door, it was really strange. It was like I had found my people. Like it was the strangest feeling. I've never walked into a group of strangers and felt more comfortable in my life. It was like, these are my people. It was so great. And I really just felt like this was a hidden jewel that people should know about, and we should be more easy to find. And so I started, because I do have a marketing background, I started to make us more findable. I started a meetup. I made sure that our website was a little easier to find, and just started inviting people. We would do some events that were specifically for novices, just to have them do like a beer and backgammon, or a beer and coffee, or just these little meetups where people could kind of, dip their toes into the game, get to know us at the club, and get started. And it really worked. We tripled the size of our backgammon club in pretty short order.
That's great. I talk with a lot of people. I'm going to be, as you know, we're going to be working together on the board of the USBGF. And one of my personal goals is to try to get more people playing and involved. And I think that's one of the at least initial challenges, is to get people to find you. And I think the things that you did are really useful. I mean, I've heard, like, I spoke with Rich Munitz, and he said doing the meetup is actually really good, and also social media and all the USBGF stuff that's going on, and making the website. Yeah, what did you find? How are people finding you nowadays? I mean, the tournament
Meetup is the number one way.
meetup.
Meetup is the number one way. Some people do find us on our website, but Meetup is a really good way of just doing constant advertising with little effort, because people they look on Meetup, they can see what's going on, close to them, and they just kind of get marketed to without really a lot of effort. So Meetup works for us, and has worked for a lot of clubs.
And it sounds like you're able to get some newer players or novice players by doing these events like beer and backgammon or lessons or what have you.
Yeah, I think it's really important to do things that cater to new people. I mean, with our club, we have a lot of really experienced players. We're really lucky. It's a very mature club. But it can be really intimidating for a new person to walk into that sort of environment. And so we have done a lot of work to have separate events for them, but also at the club, to make it really welcoming for them. So a lot of people at our club, we turn them into educators, and it's not just the directors that are welcoming people. It's really everybody who creates a welcoming atmosphere. So we can really, I know that there's people that I can just, when a new person comes in, just say, hey, here's our educator, and really have that new person make a connection with an individual at the club, show them around, show them the ropes, do a little warm up with them, and just make them feel like they're welcome. Otherwise, people are just sort of standing off to the side, and they don't actually know what to do. it's a little uncomfortable. So we try to make them feel welcome.
That's great. That's great. So that's the local weekly tournaments, and you also work with the annual, the larger tournament, right?
Right. We run the Viking Classic, which runs on Labor Day weekend, and that we started in 2017. So we jumped right into running big tournaments right away. I mean, we we started our first day at the club was at the beginning of 2015, and we had our own ABT tournament by 2017. So we moved really fast. But we had some special skills that one thing I think I understand is that the ABT tournaments are events. Yes, they're competitions, but they're also events that people want to have fun. And so my marketing background, I was used to putting on events for people, had a lot of experience in logistics and marketing events. And so it was something that we felt like we had a perspective on, and that we could add to the community with an event that had a fun theme, and really we have a lot of great energy here in Minnesota. So we felt like our club really deserved to have a world-class tournament. So that's our goal.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's hard for me with work and family to travel, but I know a lot of people that go to the Minnesota tournament, they enjoy it a lot as compared to perhaps other ones. What's been your feedback from the players who have attended? What are the things specifically that they enjoyed about your tournament that was perhaps unique?
Yeah, well, I think the trophies are what captures people's attention. It's kind of a fun Viking theme. People like the trophies, but when they come, the things that we hear are you're really welcoming. Like your director's like you're really nice. And so we try to like treat the players with kindness. We know that people, it's hard work. You're working really hard in your on your game and on your competition. So we just try to make it as smooth as possible. We try to make it super organized on time. We do our best to just make the players feel like, okay, we've got this, and you can just relax and just focus on your play.
That's good. So I know the trophies are always popular. I see the ones from Minnesota, and I feel like I've seen some other ones like Denver that are really unique.
Yeah.
I know running a tournament, it's people think it's a thing where the organizers are making lots of money. I don't think that's the case at all. Oftentimes you're lucky to break even, I think.
Right.
But some of these trophies, I mean, you get really nice ones. I mean,
Yeah.
how are you able to, afford to get all those? Because I think if other tournaments do that, that would be great.
Yeah, well, we get some of them are sponsored by our club. I mean, our club does a little bit of support of our annual tournament. But we don't make money on the tournaments. I mean, you're telling the truth. We work all year on it, from contract negotiation to getting the website set up to printing and producing brochures and attending other tournaments. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of detail. Staffing it, training people. I mean, it's like having your own little mini business. So nobody would do this for the money. It's just not there. You have to do it for backgammon love. But having those trophies were really important to us. I mean, I really like trophies. Some people don't. Some people would rather just have the cash, but I like to have a keepsake. My first trophy that I won was precious to me, and so we just wanted to give the players something really cool and memorable to take home with them.
Yeah, people definitely remember those trophies. They're really really nice, and I know um, you're very welcoming. And I feel like in certain areas of the country, I lived in the South, in Tennessee for some time, and there's the Southern hospitality. It's very similar in the Midwest where you are, but it's not quite the same on the coast, like on the East Coast and West Coast. So I think that hospitality is really nice. And it's just like part of your nature growing up where you did.
I guess so. You could say that.
Yeah. If you go to like here, I'm in Los Angeles, and in places like New York, you go to people like, what do you want? As
Right,
opposed to
right.
saying, hi, welcome. Like, I used to, when I lived in Tennessee, you'd be walking down the street and you see someone, you say hello. But here it's like they're gonna kill you if you say the wrong word.
Right.
It's just different. I think that's very useful. I mean, even if you're not from, one of those areas, if you can have that type of hospitality, it really helps with the
Well,
turn.
we're a small community. I mean, even though we're in the US and we're spread out, we're still a really small community. So I've always felt like going to tournaments is sort of like a reunion of sorts. You're meeting your friends. Some of them are like family because we've gotten so close to them. So I like that atmosphere, and if I can help contribute to that, then that makes me feel really good.
Yeah, you've been to a number of tournaments outside of your local venues. Where have you gone and enjoyed?
We've
Have
done
any
a bit of
stories?
traveling, yeah,
Yeah.
and it gives us, it's fun to travel because it gives us a good perspective and it gives us some ideas about our own tournament. Most recently, we were in Romania, which put on a fantastic tournament. It was really, really nice in this little ski type resort area. People are beautiful. The country's beautiful. We liked the pacing of that tournament so much that we decided to make some changes for next year for the Viking Classic. So people can take a look at that at our schedule and our format. It's changed for next year because we just loved it.
What was the pacing
Also
controls?
been, yeah, we've also been to, we played in France. We played in the club in France. Um, we played, let's see, in Paris, I played in the club. We played at the, what are they calling it now? They're calling it the French Riviera tournament. We played there. We played in Ireland, just the club when we visited there. We played in Istanbul at the really big tournament, almost 700 people
Right.
tournament. So I just love the perspective that we've gotten and the ideas. I think if we share ideas as a community, it's really great. Some things I think they're doing really, really well overseas is that they're not really focusing on money. Money is not the main motivation for play. In fact, when I played in the club in Paris, there was no entry fee at all. People just sort of had this, I think they have like an annual small little fee for the club, but no regular money is going on. And I actually won the tournament in Paris, and I got a little bottle of champagne, and it was really fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but it wasn't about money. And there's a couple other places too that they're really not doing it for money, and they're getting a lot of people. They get a lot of attendance, and people are serious about the game. They're still really serious about the game, and they get a good mix of gender. They get a good mix of different types of people, different ages. And those are some things that I see and I think about, how can we do more of that here to grow the game?
That's great. You had mentioned the pace was different in Romania. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Let's see, they did a Swiss tournament, and it was a full Swiss, and they took their time going through it. It was maybe 3 rounds every day, um, interspersed with other events. And it was just a really, really nice pace. I find that some US tournaments can be really hectic and just really packed and crammed with events. And I just really enjoyed the way that they spaced everything out. It just felt very sane. You never felt stressed as a player. It was just really nice. And so we'd like to, since we do have a long weekend, we have the Labor Day weekend. We do have a luxury of an extra day, so we're going to take some of that feeling of the tournament from Romania. The format, which is a full Swiss. It's not a truncated Swiss, a full Swiss, and bring that into our tournament. I know a lot of players really like the Swiss because you get a lot of play.
Right. So in the full Swiss, even if you're eliminated from winning a prize, you keep playing. Is that right?
No, you do get eliminated. With our with some of the Swiss tournaments, they cut off at a certain percentage of players. With the full Swiss, you play it out until there really is um, a clear winner. Usually you get a clear first, second, third. There's really clear places where you just play it all the way out, instead of truncate it, for time purposes. It ends up with less ties. You know, sometimes you have a winner, and then you have maybe 7 people that tie for second place or something like that. That can happen with a truncated Swiss. But when you play it all out, you have more set places.
Right. That's good. I kind of like the Swiss format. I think there are things that you have to learn to space out the tournament, to pace it. Of course, when you have an extra day on a holiday weekend, that's helpful. And then oftentimes there are also other events that you have to kind of squeeze in, which can be a little challenging as well.
Right.
What are some of the other events that people enjoy playing in?
At my tournament,
Yes, ma'am.
let's see. We have a Friday Frigga. That's a warm-up tournament that's really popular. It's only a $60 tournament, and it's pretty reasonably priced, and it has a beautiful trophy. Most people play in that. We're sort of retooling some of the events around our Swiss, because you have to leave room for all the Swiss rounds. So we're still thinking about that, but people can go to backgammonclassic.com to look at all of our events. We'll have them all posted shortly.
I'll put a link in the description to that so people can find it, as well as the USBGF and things like that. One of
Sure,
the
but
things,
we try to have something for everybody. We have a super jackpot that's $1,000 entry that has a really beautiful long ship trophy.
yeah,
And right, but then we try to have a lot on the lower end too. We really try to have something for all skill levels. So that's really, really important to me, to not have it be so elite that I want people to come in and feel comfortable playing, no matter what their skill level.
I think that's really important that you get people of all skill levels and different demographics. One of the things that I'm interested in is to get many different people in. And we find that in backgammon and in some of these other games, there's usually a lot more men playing in the game than women. And, I thought one of the questions I had for you is, what, in your opinion, what are ways we can get more women playing into the game?
Um, it's a really good question. So when I first started at the club, it was mostly men. There was maybe 1 or 2 women that would come. I think you just have to invite them. And another thing is, it was pretty much a boys' club. When I came in, it felt like a boys' club, and so I think you just have to make an effort as a club to invite women, to welcome them, make them feel comfortable. Otherwise, if they feel like they're not part of the group, they're not going to want to come back, or if they feel like they're not welcome, or it's just really closed. So I just think it has to be intentional. Some clubs are better than others, but it is intentional.
Yeah, I remember last time at the Los Angeles tournament, Candace had a whole women's tournament, the ladies tournament, and I was happy to sponsor it. And it was a lot of fun.
That's
She had
right.
like roses and champagne, and that was great.
It was great. And you gave away face masks, I think, some nice skincare.
Oh yeah, did you try it?
I haven't yet. It's sitting on my shelf. I should. You
Those
just
are good.
reminded
People,
me.
I've got some more set up for her this for this upcoming tournament. I think that's a great idea to have like an exclusive ladies tournament. I think the ladies enjoy that. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play in it, but as a female yourself, did you find enjoyment in playing that tournament specifically with the other ladies?
I'm a little torn about that one, Alex, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For me personally, I don't need a separate tournament. But I know a lot of ladies like it, so I'm supportive. I'm supportive of that. We did add a ladies tournament at my at the Viking because of demand. So, I'm happy to listen to women and listen to what they want and need. But personally, I don't need a separate tournament. I think it's some women feel that, and I don't feel this way, but some women feel that it might be a little bit demeaning to have a separate ladies tournament. I don't feel that way. But I think, to, I think women tend to get, I think the biggest problem we have is women tend to get run off. Just to be perfectly frank with you, I think that women want to play, but they don't necessarily feel all that comfortable in the setting. So whether it's a club or whether it's a tournament. So I think anything we can do to just, make them feel comfortable, make them feel welcome, invite them, is great.
Yeah, I agree. I think, of course, the purpose of those is not to demean anybody. It's a lot of the times I've gotten feedback, some of them feel more welcome or more comfortable playing against other women. So
Yeah.
that's nice to have. I know you also participate in the I don't know what they call it now, the USBGF Women in Backgammon, or they changed the name.
Yeah. It's Women of Backgammon. That was a group that was started over COVID when we were all locked down. And so we started getting together on Zoom, us ladies that, were used to going to tournaments and seeing one another and we couldn't. So we started that group, started out really casually. It's gotten to be more formalized where we have a monthly tournament, we have monthly learning sessions, and we invite women really all over the world to come in and play and learn with us.
And I've seen a lot of the YouTube videos. Those are really good.
Yeah, it's good. We have an expert speaker that comes in every month. And we have Antoinette Williams is key in getting those speakers together, and she's our education director. So she does a really good job of programming the
She's
speakers. And then,
fantastic.
the women are invited to the sessions, but then we put them on YouTube and everybody can enjoy and watch them.
Yeah, they're very useful, very educational. I remember some of the recent ones that really good.
Yeah,
Uh, okay, so I know you've been doing that with the USBGF, but you've also been involved in the USBGF as a board member and doing some of the marketing. Tell us a little bit about, how that got started and what you've been doing, please.
sure. I've done some work, like I said, in our local club and tournament, and our club was growing, and it kind of got the attention of leadership at the USBGF, and they asked me, "What are you doing, to grow backgammon locally?" And so those conversations turned into, well, maybe you can help us grow nationally, if you're growing locally. And so it was Karen Davis was president at the time, and she asked me to take a look at their social media and what they could do with their social media. So I started working with Karen in 2018 to start, you know, filling out our social media, our social media presence. How can we use it? How can we use it to gain new players? How can we use it to deliver education? How can we use it to serve our current population? So I really took a look at it. from a marketing perspective. And then in 2020, when John Perner became president, he asked me to come on and lead the marketing for the organization.
And what is your role in terms of the marketing? I know you do a lot on the website, which is a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah, I'm head of marketing, so I'm chief marketing officer. So what that means is, I look at our marketing strategically. I look at what our goals are, what they should be. I make sure that we're focusing on our mission, which is to spread the knowledge and enjoyment of backgammon. So I will, work on things like campaigns to spread awareness of backgammon. So things that like Google Ads. We just got a $10,000 grant from Google, which is a really nice perk. So was able to apply to that and get accepted. So now we have a nice little bucket of money to spend on Google Ads to make people aware of this community that we, so for instance, if somebody searches for the word backgammon or any related words, our ads will come up. And normally that's quite expensive. But with this Google stipend, we're able to do a lot more than we were in the past. So that's really good thing. So I drop Google Ads. I do campaigns. I do communications and emails. I execute programs that really help to educate people about backgammon. So, and one of the first things I did is to say we need a new website, because our website really wasn't workable from a marketing perspective. We really didn't have any marketing assets. There was really nothing there. And I've been in marketing for a long time, and really any organization, the way you grow is through marketing and or sales, or a combination of the two of those. And we really didn't have any of those disciplines. So getting some just basic marketing out there that would communicate to the world what we're about, and to put out some ads that get people's attention, just some really basic marketing stuff, it goes a long way. People kind of think maybe that you need like a one-trick pony, like, oh, if only we could have a huge YouTube channel, if only you could have like a viral TV series, if you could only have this, if I could only have the Kardashians playing backgammon or something. People like think that it's like this one trick, and really marketing is and maybe some of that stuff helps. If we get something that goes viral, that does kickstart, but really it's about consistency, and it's about I think with the backgammon especially, grassroots effort and supporting that grassroots effort. So people like you, Alex, that are doing content, and you do some great content, and you push it out really, really fast, and it's good in quality. We need that, we need that. And we need to support people like you that are doing really good work, because it's not just one thing that we're doing. It's really kind of a combination of all things, content creators, club directors, club members, board members, educators, it really all adds up to a whole.
Yes, thank you. I agree. I think, even in my business, you want to do marketing, Google is usually the first place to start, but other places like, social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube videos, as well as, search engine optimization, that certainly helps a lot. And the more people that are involved doing different things, the better.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I think that we kind of covered, most of the things. Do you have any, sometimes I like to hear some interesting stories. Do you have any interesting stories of backgammon adventures or, games or tournaments that viewers may enjoy?
Oh, I don't know if I'm prepared with stories.
Okay. Okay.
But what I would like to say is, it takes a whole village to build backgammon. I know a lot of people really want to build backgammon. And so I think the best thing that people can do is just raise your hand and volunteer, because we're all volunteers. We're not making any money off of off of backgammon. We're all volunteers, and it's great. The more people that we have to volunteer, even if you can do just a little bit, even just an hour a week, or even just maybe a little sprint, it really helps. I think at the moment, the biggest need is just is volunteers to help execute our programs.
Yeah, I think if you tell like people in your club or any club, bring one person with you next time. Not everyone's going to do that, but maybe half the people or a fraction of the people will bring one extra person, and that's a great way to start. Like I put some stuff on my Facebook, on my personal page. Um, when I recently published my book, I published my book, and then a number of my friends that I know that didn't know that I'm involved in backgammon the way I am showed an interest, and we got some people coming to the club. So that's great. There are a lot of different things that we can do.
Yeah, even just sharing on social media, that's great.
I know a lot of people don't know the tremendous amount of effort you put in because you do a lot of things behind the scenes, but I'm familiar with that. I have to express my gratitude and appreciation for all of the work that you've done and you continue to do. So thank you very much for all of that. Uh,
Sure, it's
Everyone
really fun
appreciates
stuff.
that. What do you have any other topics you'd like to discuss or any final comments before we conclude?
No, I think we covered it. I think we covered it pretty well. I'm just really happy that you joined us as a board member. It's great to have some fresh blood and new ideas, and so I think that's great. I'm looking forward to working with you, and I just really like this community. I love the community. Community is super super important to me, and I'd love to see it grow.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the most interesting things or most enjoyable things for me is, I have the local group of players that I play with, but then you go to these uh, tournaments, the larger tournaments. I don't particularly go so much, but now we have like all the social media and like all these videos that I do and all the stuff they have on Facebook and other social media platforms. I meet so many people from other places, like you're from Minnesota, and I've done videos with people from all over the world, multiple continents, different hemispheres, and it's just I would never have been able to have such an opportunity if it weren't for this community.
Right, right.
So that's wonderful. Okay, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I certainly enjoyed speaking with you and learning more about the kinds of things that you do and all the things you do to grow the game. Thank you again for everything.
It was
I'll
fun.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, the video will be up shortly. I'll put in the link to the Minnesota tournament and any other ones that you'd like me to include. Did you want to include any contact information for people to get a hold of
Sure,
you?
sure. I can give you my email address to include.
Okay, I'll put it in there. Did you want to go ahead and say it now in the
Sure,
video?
it's April@usbgf.org.
Okay, yeah. So April at usbgf.org. If you have any questions, go ahead and contact her. I can tell you she's very easy to reach and really nice with everything. It's always a pleasure to interact with her. So thank you. We'll go ahead and conclude this video. I'd love to have you on again in future videos. We can certainly have other opportunities. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Again, my book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.